Hello, scholars. Mrs. Leonard here, and today I'm going to read to you a story called Adelita. It has been written by Tomie de Paola. All right, this is what you are going to use to answer the questions and the worksheets that you will be given throughout the course of this week. This is our reading work for the week. So here we go. Adelita, written and illustrated by Tomie de Paola. Hace mucho tiempo, a long time ago, in a village in Mexico, there lived a merchant named Francisco and his beautiful young wife, Adela. One day, Adela said, "Francisco, estamos esperando un bebé. We are going to have a baby." "Adela," Francisco said, "me es muy feliz de verlo. I am so happy." Then he said, "We must send for Esperanza. She will come and take care of you until the baby is born, and then she will help us with the baby." Esperanza had been with the Mercedo family since she was a young girl, and she had looked after Francisco when he was a baby. And there are the pictures. Esperanza came right away. She took care of Adela, but after the birth of the baby, Adela was ill. She grew weaker, and shortly after, she held her little girl for the first time and the last time. Quietly, she died. Francisco was heartbroken. He named his baby daughter Adelita after Adela and her mother. Francisco was sad for Adela, and he missed her greatly, but gradually, Adelita filled his heart with love. Time passed, and Adelita grew into a beautiful young woman. La casa Mercedo se llenó de alegría. The Mercedo house was full of happiness. Pardon me if my Spanish is not great, but it is very fun to learn Spanish as we read this. One evening, Francisco called Adelita and Esperanza to his study. "My dear Adelita, my good Esperanza, les tengo noticias. I have some news for you. I have met a charming woman and I have decided to marry again. Her name is Señora Michaela de la Fortuna. She is a widow and has 2 daughters close to your age, Adelita. I know you will like Dona Michaela and her daughters, Valentina and Dulce." Adelita was happy for her father. Esperanza was not so sure, especially after she met Dona Michaela and her daughters. "They're cold ones," Esperanza said. If you want to look more at the pictures, you can pause the story too, just to look at them and see the details in the photos. Life was happy but different. Adelita had to share her father's attention, but they still managed to have importantes momentos juntos, special moments together. Adelita didn't mind that Dona Michaela favored her daughters, even though Esperanza complained. It's natural, Adelita told her. Then suddenly, her father died from an illness and everything changed. Poor Adelita was an orphan. Dona Michaela had always been jealous of Adelita. Now she no longer had to hide it. She moved Adelita from her beautiful bedroom to a small room in the attic. No longer did Adelita have new dresses. She had to wear hand-me-downs. Worst of all, Valentina and Dulce were mean and hateful to her. Adelita began spending all of her time in the kitchen with Esperanza. She helped her with the meals. She listened to stories about her father as a boy and her mother as a young bride. Because she knew that Esperanza loved her, Adelita's heart stayed as warm as the fire in the hearth. One day, Dona Michaela came to the kitchen and spoke to them. "I'm spending too much money in this household. From now on, you, Adelita, will work in the kitchen. You are here all the time anyway. And you, Esperanza, out. I want you to leave immediately." "Oh, Señora de la Fortuna, please don't send me away," Esperanza pleaded. "I've been with this family since I was a girl. I will work for no money, just for a place to lay my head in a bowl of beans and a tortilla." "Oh, please, Mama," Adelita begged. "Esperanza can share my room and my food." "Out!" shouted Señorita Michaela de la Fortuna to Esperanza. I bet you can imagine how Adelita feels now. Then, in an icy voice, she spoke to Adelita. "And don't you dare call me Mama again. I'm Donna Michela to you." She turned and left, nose in the air. Amid tears and hugs, poor Esperanza said goodbye to Adelita and left her with her meager belongings. Adelita was in despair. The days ahead held nothing but loneliness and hard work. Adelita had to prepare all the meals, clean the rooms, fetch and carry for Valentina and Dulce, who began to be more like meanness and vinegar. "Miss Hija, my daughters," Donna Michela said one morning as Adelita was serving breakfast. "El Señor and La Señora Gordillo have sent us an invitation to una fiesta en su hacienda, a party on their ranch to celebrate the homecoming of their son Javier." "Oh, Mama!" Valentina and Dulce twittered. And Donna Michela said with a smile, "Se rumor has it that he will be looking for a wife." The daughters nearly fainted. Secretly, each wanted to be the wife of Javier, and each would do anything to be with him. "Donna Michela," Adelita asked as she poured the hot chocolate, "may I go too? I knew Senor Javier when I was young. I would love to see him again." "Are you serious?" Donna Michela asked. "Look at you, so poorly dressed. Such a dirty face. I would be too embarrassed to have you in our company. You will stay here." "That is final." Adelita went back to the kitchen. The next days were busy. Adelita did not have a minute to herself. She was washing and pressing and sewing ribbons on, taking lace off, at the mercy of every little capriccio of the sisters as she tried to outdo the other. Each of them trying to outdo the other. When Donna Michela, Valentina, and Dulce left for the fiesta, Adelita went to the kitchen and sat by the fire. Suddenly, disappointment swept over her, and she began to weep. She missed her father. She missed Esperanza. She missed being at the fiesta. Tap, tap, tap. She heard a soft knock on the door. "Who is it?" Adelita asked. "Soy yo, only me." It was Esperanza. "Oh, Esperanza, I've missed you so much," Adelita cried. "Don't cry, my little one," Esperanza said. "I am here. I had un sueño, a dream, that Donna Michela would not let you go to the fiesta, so I had to come to help. I have borrowed a cart to take you there." "But I have nothing to wear," said Adelita. "Come with me," said Esperanza. They went to the storeroom. "Over there, behind those boxes, is your mother's trunk. The key is behind the crucifix." Adelita unlocked the trunk. Inside, she found an old-fashioned, beautiful white dress. Under the dress was a magnificent rebozo shawl, embroidered with birds and flowers. "Oh, mi mamacita, my little mother," Adelita whispered. Adelita washed and dressed. Esperanza braided her hair and wound ribbons and flowers into it. "Oh, Esperanza," Adelita said, "Donna Michela will be furious when she sees me." "Don't you worry, she will never recognize you," Esperanza assured her. "Now, vámonos, let's hurry." The fiesta had already begun when Adelita arrived. She walked into the room. Everyone turned to look. The room fell silent. Who was the stunning young woman? Senor Gordillo went up to Adelita. "Who do we have here?" he asked. "I'm in disguise," Adelita said with a twinkle and a sweet smile. "Just call me Cinderella." "Javier, everyone," Senor Gordillo said. "Come meet our very own Cenicienta." Think about how this relates to the actual Cinderella that we may have watched or read in real life. This is a different version of it, and I love discovering the different version. Javier took one look and fell in love. He danced every dance with Adelita. He brought her refreshments. He never left her side. Adelita's heart was full as well, with all the meanness that she had suffered over the years. It began to melt. At midnight, when Javier gave her a sweet kiss and declared his love, Adelita was frightened. How could she explain who she was? His family would never allow him to love a kitchen maid. So Adelita ran away and found Esperanza. They hurried home. I will never forget this night as long as I live, Esperanza, Adelita said. Gracias. Thank you. If you ever need me, niita, my little daughter, just call my name and somehow I will hear you, Esperanza told her. The next day, all Dona Michaela and her 2 daughters could talk about was the mysterious Cinderella, who had appeared and then disappeared from the fiesta, just like in the fairy tale. They were jealous of her beauty and even more jealous because they knew that Javier had fallen in love with her. I'm glad no one knows who she is, Valentina said. Or where she is, said Dulce. And no glass slipper, Dona Michaela added. Javier had told everyone that he would not rest until he found his Cinderella. He's coming to town this very day, Dona Michaela announced. He will stop at each house to look for her. This is a chance to show once more what charms you have, my daughters. So prepare yourselves. Who knows? Maybe one of you will make him forget this Cinderella. Adelita! They screamed. Come help us, quickly! I will be right there, Adelita answered. But before she ran to Valentina and Dulce, she ran up to the attic room and hung her mother's rebozo out the window. She helped the 2 sisters dress. Then she went back to her room shyly and peeked out the window. Soon, she saw Javier coming down the street on his horse. Suddenly, he saw the rebozo. He jumped down, ran to the door, and knocked. Senora Michaela de la Fortuna opened the door. Ah, Senor Javier. Please come in, por favor, she said. Senora, where is she? I want to know if my love is here. Javier said. Do you mean one of my daughters? Dona Michaela said. Valentina, Dulce, come here. Senor Javier would like to see you. The sisters appeared in the doorway, giggling foolishly. Buen dia, good day, Senor Javier, they chimed in unison. Do you remember us? Are you looking for us? Yes, ladies, I remember you, Javier answered, but it's another that I'm looking for. There's no one else here, Dona Michaela said. Yes, there is. Oh, sorry, this is Adelita. Yes, there is, a voice said. Are you looking for me, senor? There was Adelita, standing at the top of the stairs in her mother's dress and rebozo. My Cinderella, Javier said. Who? What? What's going on? Dona Michaela asked, while Valentina and Dulce looked at Adelita in astonishment. There she is. It's only Adelita, Dona Michaela, Adelita said as she came down the stairs. Only Adelita. Who are you? Javier asked. I am Adelita Mercedo Martinez. We knew each other whenever we were children. Oh, Adelita, of course I remember you as a little girl, Javier gasped. I'm so happy to have found you again, he smiled. I have to come ask my Cinderella to marry me. Will you? I'm an orphan, Senor Javier, Adelita said. Perhaps ask Dona Michaela if she will give you her permission. Will you, Senora? Javier asked. Why, I don't know. I don't know what I mean, well, of course, we shall be honored, Senor Javier, Dona Michaela said. Valentina and Dulce glared at Adelita. Then it will be, Javier said, taking Adelita's hand in his. Looks like her stepmother changed her mind. In her sweetness, Adelita invited Senora Michaela de la Fortuna Mercedo and her daughters Valentina and Dulce to the wedding. Of course, Esperanza was there too. She was going to take care of Javier and Adelita just as she had done before. And just like Cinderella and her prince, we shall live in a happily ever after story too, Adelita said. And they did. The end. And at the back, there's even a lot of terms that we were able to read in Spanish that are in a glossary that we could read in Spanish and in English to learn a new language. Well, I hope you enjoyed the story. It was a long one, but it was worth it. So we'll use that story this week to answer any of the questions that we have. I love you guys, and I will see you later. Bye!